Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vays. Today is Tuesday, July 28th. So, welcome guys. Bitcoin had a huge day yesterday. Let's go and take a look at where it stands now based on what happened last night. All right, we are going straight to Bitcoin. This is the 4 hour chart. This is our 4 hour chart on the price of Bitcoin. And so yesterday, when the day was coming to an end, we were here going into a very late evening, or actually when we were, yeah, this was yesterday's, while I was doing the stream. This is the noon candle. I believe I'm on Eastern time. This was the evening candle. So this was the candle that started at 4 p.m. Eastern, and that made the high going right into end of day. So here's the 4 hour chart. Now, I'm not sure what this means. Oh, I think that's the outcome from the triangle. Right. So we broke past the target of the 4 hour triangle. Let's go to the daily chart. The daily chart is more interesting. Oh, let me pull out your live chat, guys. I had my broker running. When my broker is running, it just takes up so many of my resources. I had to close my broker because I entered some trades. I'm not going to talk about what they are. So everything's like running slow, even though I closed the broker. Sure, restarted my computer. Okay. So look at where the target was. This was our target coming out of the triangle because that's a $2,000 difference from 8,425 up to 10,4. So that's exactly 2,000. So the breakout from the triangle had a target of 2,000. Look at how we perfectly hit that target right at 2,000. And we did pull back late last night, or right out going into 8 p.m. candle close. This is the candle that closed above 10,000. So I am now down 8 days in my bet of closing above 10,000. The current candle is sitting significantly lower, not significantly lower, but lower than the top by $300. And I took my exit. I didn't sell all of my GBTC, but I sold a partial holding of my GBTC. I tweeted out, I actually got the best price yesterday. I sold at the very top of GBTC yesterday. Yes, it did go higher than that today. GBTC did go higher than that today. But I'm still okay with my sale. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback here, at least a 1 to 4 day consolidation, and then we will reevaluate. But it looks like Bitcoin wants to challenge all-time highs the same way gold has challenged all-time highs. So gold crushed all-time highs today, and then it just pulled back. Now the S&P 500 is hanging in there. The S&P 500 was falling early in the morning, and now it seems to be hanging in there just fine. So just like the S&P 500 hit an MRI top and has slowed down for a couple of days, I am anticipating the exact same thing in Bitcoin. Nothing goes up forever. We're not going to go to 20,000 tomorrow. We can, but it's unlikely. So I will stick with my 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we will reevaluate. but all signs are pointing to a 1 to 4 candle correction, followed by more upside, and then perhaps a more significant top somewhere around 14,000. But we are still pulling back right now. And I think we could go as low as 10,000. That is a very clean pullback. If we go to the weekly chart, the week has just started. So we can pull back to 10,000 and still close the week above 11,000. Now, this is another critical Fibonacci line right here. And Bitcoin has not closed above that purple line in a good 2 years. Probably over 2 years. The last time Bitcoin closed above 11,500 on a weekly basis. That might have been it right here. This was the last time Bitcoin closed above 500 on a weekly basis. It's been 2.5 years. That is very bullish. If Bitcoin can close a week above 11,500, there would have only been one. I guess that's two. One. Well, if Bitcoin can close the week above 12,000, let's use 12,000. If Bitcoin can close the week above 12,000, there would have only been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in Bitcoin's history that closed the week above 12,000. That is incredibly bullish. That is bullish. If we can close a week above 12,000, I will probably admit that I lost my bet and take my friend out to dinner early. Well, maybe not, because the dinner is going to cost me less if Bitcoin is at 20,000 by end of year. So I am starting to get pretty damn bullish, but because the daily ran into, I've been bullish actually since this breakout took place. I didn't do any videos over the weekend, but I mean, all this resistance breaking, I bought GBTC here and over in that $9,200 range. And right now, this is just a short-term top. And I'm looking for a 1 to 4 candle correction or at least a slowdown. But this is definitely a dip I'm interested in. Yeah, I know there's scammy ads in front of my videos, but if I remove the ads, I get shadow banned and YouTube doesn't promote me. So the only way you have a chance of getting notified that I have videos coming up is by you watching scammy ads. I almost want to sue YouTube the way Wozniak is suing YouTube, because some of those scammy ads are me. They're now using me in those scammy ads as well. All right, let's see if we have any questions. I don't know what Bitcoin's fear and greed index is. I have my own fear and greed index, but it's different. So I don't know what it means. I don't know how it's being calculated. I don't know. I wouldn't trust it. Like, just because someone came up with a fear and greed index doesn't mean that it's meaningful. We already discussed yesterday how, oh, now they have the right premium. See, this was totally wrong. Maybe they watched my show. Maybe somebody pointed out to Clark Moody's, because yesterday this was 6%, and I proved on live air that it wasn't 6%, it was 16%, or it was 4% or something, and it was insane. It was an insanely wrong number. This seems like a more logical number to me, 15% on GBTC premium. We can go and take a look what I have. Nope, it's probably still wrong. I have 22% on the GBTC premium. That is probably correct. So yeah, so I sold my GBTC share. I took the 17% premium Could have waited, would have gotten an extra 5%, but that's okay. I still have a bunch of GBTC shares. I may not exit today. It depends. I should have exited earlier today, but I'm going to hold on to them. I think I'm going to hold the rest of my GBTC through the 1 to 4 candle correction and maybe buy that dip. If we get anywhere near 10,000, I would be very interested in buying that dip in Bitcoin. All right, so here is that fear and greed index. Yeah, but I need a historical look. Yeah, so the greed is where it was in May 2019 and June 2019, and we still went higher. But I don't know how they're calculating it. So let's see. Each day we analyze emotions and sentiment from different sources and crunch them into a simple number. That is, I have no idea what that means. I don't know what it means. I don't know what they're doing. So it's fun to look at, but unless you understand the methodology, I don't know what it means. You got to look at the correlation. So right here, that's March 2015. Yeah, that's fairly accurate. This is August 23rd. You can match it up. You can see how it looks on a price scale. And yeah, so this looks like it's ready for a pullback. So the MRI indicator is also right around, but people can always get more greedy. We just went quite a bit up the scale. So yeah, like I said, I am waiting. Data source, market, momentum, social media. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's the methodology. Okay, you got to read the methodology. If you like the methodology, then yeah, use the index. Volatility, 25%, measuring the current volatility and max drawdowns of Bitcoin and compared with the corresponding average value. Okay, cool. Market momentum, measuring current volume and market momentum. Not exactly sure what that means, and put those two values together. But a lot of the stuff is probably proprietary. Social media, surveys, dominance, the dominance of a coin. Okay. And trends, Google Trends. Yeah, that's good. Google Trends. I'm actually curious about that. Google Trends, Bitcoin. Actually, not Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Google Trends for Bitcoin aren't useful. Let me see. It's probably not going to populate it. Nope. Let's see Google Trends. Okay, that is in the last year. Look, so we're not even as high as we were in May. Let's take this back a couple of years. Well, 2004 is a little far. Okay, so doesn't look like there's much FOMO. That's good. That's very good. Okay, that's very good. Looks like buy Bitcoin is not trending all that high. That's a good thing. That means this rise is kind of flying under the radar. That's good. That's bullish. This is a bullish sign that Bitcoin is rising because the FOMO is going to set in soon and it can drive it higher. So no bubble according to Google Trends. All right, let's go back to the price of Bitcoin. Are we dropping here? We're hanging in there, but we're back at below 11. All right, any other questions? Bitcoin has never closed monthly above 10,000. Wow, really? That would be interesting. The month is coming to an end. Actually, I shouldn't be looking at it on this scale. I have a monthly chart. Wait, this is my weekly, right? This is my monthly. No, it has. Right here. Bitcoin's highest monthly close was 14,000. 14,000. So this right now would be the highest monthly close. This would be the second highest monthly close ever. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty impressive. Very impressive. Second highest monthly close ever. That's great. Metals. Well, here's gold. Gold is still rallying. This is what we call a Darth Maul candle. It's a kind of shitty candle. That's a lot of volatility for gold in one day. This is probably the top, and we're gonna get our yellow and red arrows over the next 2 days. So tomorrow there'll be a yellow arrow, and Thursday there'll be a red arrow. So gold's topping. This is probably the top for a couple of weeks. Silver, same thing. Probably the top for a week or two. The ratio, I got to go see my gold guy. I want to get out of my silver. Turn it into gold or Bitcoin. What about hyperwave? Well, we adjust hyperwave. So hyperwave wave 7 starts at phase 6, and we now have to adjust it like that. That is the new hyperwave line. Hyperwave wave 7 will always be adjusted until hyperwave either goes down to 1,000, but I don't see 1,000. If Bitcoin goes down to 1,000, I think it's fucked. At this point, 1,000 ain't happening. I would be very scared if Bitcoin goes down to 1,000. I think in the past I said that I would be throwing in the towel and giving up on Bitcoin if it fell below 700. If we get out of this year above 10,000, I would be throwing in the towel if we go down to say 2,000. If we, once this year ends, a $2,000 price of Bitcoin probably has me leaving the space. I just don't think Bitcoin will survive a drop to 2,000 next year. BitMEX funding rate is bearish. Let's see. Well, right. So people are over leveraged to the upside. So that is definitely a sign. That's the highest we've been since February. And that did not lead to very good things. So that is a pretty damn big funding rate. I bet you we have a lot of contango going on right now. Is it contango or backwardation? I always get them confused. I know what they mean. I just forget which one means what. I always get them backwards. And yeah, so this is pretty big. This is a sign that things are toppy. Bitcoin is definitely toppy right now. Short term, though. Short term. Mining is going to look good. I'm really curious what... I'm really curious how Bitcoin dominance is going to perform. Very curious. Did you see? No, I don't watch CNBC, but good for Novogratz. I got to get him on the show one day. Swedish krona. Oh yeah, so I did an AMA with someone I met in Dubai who runs like a little exchange. I tweeted out earlier today. I did that earlier today as well for the people trading on that exchange. And people asked me, is Bitcoin in a bubble? And my answer was no, absolutely not. Bitcoin is not in a bubble. Bitcoin was in a bubble in 2017 the way NASDAQ was in a bubble in the late 90s. But now, where is Bitcoin compared to this NASDAQ chart? And this is really good. It's the monthly NASDAQ. And I want to actually, let's do this. I'm going to make it clean. And I'm going to put it side by side like this. I'm going to go here. Do this. And now we're going to put this on Bitcoin. I'll use Coinbase because I don't have any annotations on it. But we're not going to use monthly. We're going to use maybe weekly. Okay, that's better. So maybe I can even use daily. Oh, yeah. Nah. No, daily's too much. Hold on. I'm going to find maybe 2-day. Maybe 2-day would be good. I just want to get them on a similar scale. So I want, you know what? How about 3-day? Okay, I think we have something here. So no. Maybe a week would have worked. Yeah, let's use a week. Great comparison. Here we are. Perfect. So let's compare. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. So here's our NASDAQ bubble, and here's our Bitcoin. So look how similar they are in that this is clearly a bubble and hyperwave, whatever you want to call it. And just like hyperwave, we never came back to phase 1 in the NASDAQ. So here is the NASDAQ crash, original crash. If you're curious what percentage we lost on the NASDAQ, you lost 83%. Should be red. This is going to be really cool. And I was going to end the video, but this is really cool stuff. And what did we lose on Bitcoin? Oh, look at that. 84%. How similar is that? Now, what happened next? Well, I'm going to measure this here because I'm in red. There was a secondary crash in the NASDAQ, and that crash was 55%. Well, what about a secondary crash in Bitcoin? Well, if I use the very top to the very bottom, that's 70. But if I use the, the reasonable bodies of those candles, that's about the same. So look how similar the secondary crash was in percentage terms. Now, what about the up move? From the lows in Bitcoin, I'm going to make this green. That's about a 300% rise in Bitcoin. Now, what about the NASDAQ? A little smaller than that. NASDAQ only went up 200%. So Bitcoin did better on the way up here. But look where we are. Where are we? Then the NASDAQ went up from here approximately, well, let's go to this. Approximately went up 90%. Well, let's say 100%. About 100%. Well, 100% from the low. Yep. Now, what about Bitcoin? The numbers are not going to be exact, but it looks great. Oh, look at that, 100%. So Bitcoin is now up 100% since approximately those lows. Not the swing lows, but like, the weekly and closing lows. It's about the same. So where are we? Then we dipped a little bit, and now we're breaking out. NASDAQ dipped a little bit, and then it was breaking out. So right here is where in January 2011, NASDAQ is breaking above these monthly closing highs. Now in Bitcoin, I'm using these weekly closing highs, which are about 10,000. So this is a legitimate future path for Bitcoin. But this is price. That's the price. Now, what about time? How long was NASDAQ falling? Well, NASDAQ was falling from March 2000 until, well, this is still at the lows, until September 2002, so 2.5 years. This only took a year. So 2.5 times longer. Now, what about the run-up? This run-up was from October 02 until October 07, 5 years. For Bitcoin, that took less than a year. So Bitcoin moves quickly. Now, what about the drop? Now, the drop was from November until January. That's not a lot of time. A year and a half? Yeah, a year and a half. And for Bitcoin, this took about a year. A little less, about 9 months. And this took a year and a half. And the upswing that we had, actually, I should have put it to there because before the dip, because that's the little dip, and that was the little dip, and now we're breaking out like the NASDAQ did. So this in Bitcoin only took about 3 months, March to June, 4 months, and here it took January until April of next year. So about like a year and a half. So if we look at the average, Bitcoin is about more than half as fast. So maybe it takes a third of the time for Bitcoin than for NASDAQ. So how long did it take NASDAQ to get back to its all-time high? Well, we're going to take a look. After the breakout, how long did it take NASDAQ to get over there? So that was another 136% from these breakout areas. And September 2010 to July 2015. So a little less than 4 years. So if Bitcoin can do it in 1/3 of the time, if we're sticking with the pattern, it'll probably take about a year and change, so maybe 15 months for Bitcoin to go up 100% and break all-time high. So we're talking a year to a year and a half. So we're talking July 2021. And let's tack on a few months just to be safe. So let's say October. By October 2021, Bitcoin going up 100% takes it to new all-time highs from here. That would match the NASDAQ. And now we can go further. If Bitcoin keeps going, what did NASDAQ do after that? And where it is right now. NASDAQ went up another 136% between August 2015. That's another 5 years. So another year and a half, and Bitcoin more than doubles again. So 136%. It's about here. And I need about 2 more years. Year and a half, maybe. So September 2022. So by end of 2022, let's say. Going into 2023. There you go. So that is if Bitcoin continues to follow NASDAQ. Now remember, NASDAQ can keep going higher. And Bitcoin will, if we mimic that, Bitcoin goes higher in 1/3 the time. So Bitcoin has been going up at about 1/3 the time, and up and down about 1/3 the time than NASDAQ on average. But here's the good news for you guys. Bitcoin goes up a lot faster. Like we saw it here. It took the NASDAQ forever to get back to halfway up. And Bitcoin did it really quickly. And Bitcoin rose a lot faster than the NASDAQ. So if we look at the NASDAQ in the beginning, if we look at NASDAQ from its real lows, that is 1,000%. So now if we look at Bitcoin in the beginning, 2,000%. Honestly, that's not that much of a difference, to be honest with you. I can make this bigger by just going down a little bit. Now it's 1,500. And all I got to do is, stick this like over here, and we're about the same. But this again took a while. 94 till 2000, 6 years. The beginning of 2017 is when we started to pump. So yeah, that's when we broke the prior all-time high, was around March. This is perfect. So March, this took less than a year. This took 6 years. So Bitcoin does rise a lot faster than the NASDAQ. Bitcoin falls almost as fast as the NASDAQ. So Bitcoin falls at half the speed of NASDAQ, but Bitcoin feels like it goes up at a quarter of the, 4 times faster than than the NASDAQ. So we can shorten these upswings by a third, by a little more. So if this next upswing, if we said this took 5 years, the Bitcoin can do it in less than a year. So I can actually take these further smaller. Probably within a year we can easily do it. And then this one slides over, and this also gets shorter because Bitcoin seems to go up 4 times faster in time wise. So there you go. So now we are potentially, if we just follow the Nasdaq's path and adjust for speed and time, you could be looking at Bitcoin over 50K by May of 2022. I don't know what to do with this like set of charts. I kind of like it. I kind of came up with this randomly because people keep trying to compare Bitcoin to something, and the best thing you can compare Bitcoin to is NDX, Nasdaq 100. I mean, this is really, really cool. Now you just got to line them up a little bit. All right, what do we got? Tone, what's the probability we break Bitcoin's all-time high this year? I think it's still low. I still think it's less than 50%. I would love to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. If I get an invite, it doesn't matter where I am in the world. I'm on the next flight to LA. But yeah, I just like randomly decided to talk about NASDAQ in that AMA this morning. So figured I would use the live. I've compared Bitcoin to NASDAQ many times before. But now that we're breaking out of the prior swing, it's like the NASDAQ breaking out above the 2017 top. 2007 top. Rogan's moving to Texas, even better. Yeah, I can see Bitcoin 50K within 2 years. That's or the vicinity of 50K. The problem is now I'm gonna lose this because I have to exit this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it because you're not gonna see this again. I'm not saving these charts. I should take a screenshot. Let me see. Maybe I'll take a screenshot. I'm gonna drop these because, wow, we're almost at a Fibonacci extension on the NASDAQ, 11,558. I'm gonna drop these just because the chart would be cleaner. All right, time to take the screenshot. Maybe I'll tweet it out later. Okay, and now we can exit. Yeah, no, I haven't looked at those stocks in forever. How's Bitcoin doing? We dropping? Yep, there it goes. We're dropping. Definitely pulling back. Oh no, still holding steady on daily charts. By the way, the Arun called this perfectly. We talked about the Arun the day we broke out. I mentioned it right on this day. It's a very simple indicator, but when it crosses over in that below 20% range, it's very good. And that was a perfect trade. It crossed over on July 19th, and it's not even close. The red bar is still dropping, the green bar is still elevated. So I thought the Arun indicator in my latest workshop, TA, and that made the perfect call right here on the 19th. It was July 19th, right here. That's when the Arun crossed over, right there, and it had a beautiful call on going long, right in line with the MRI. That's why I bought GBTC, but I got out partially. I'm gonna take this. But the Arun is saying stay in there. So does the MACD. The MACD is saying stay in the trade. And the RSI is also saying stay in the trade. An overbought RSI is not a reason to sell. So the RSI is saying stay in the trade. BitMEX funding rate, though, is telling you to get out. So, yeah, I haven't looked at Uber in forever. Uber is not doing too good. Not doing good at all. I'm surprised. Look at that. I'm not bullish Uber. That's a bearish looking chart on Uber. We took a trade on Uber off this triangle in the option when I taught the options course at the end of April. And the trade did well. I think we got out right near the top. What about Lyft? Lyft's probably doing worse. People aren't going anywhere. Yep. Not a good looking chart. Should probably turn the indicators on. Nope, not looking good on Lyft either. And what was it? JM. I already forgot the ticker. It's on my list here. Oh, what was it? JMIA? What was that company called? The African Amazon? Saw it in the live chat, but I don't know where it went. Let me do a control F. I don't see it anymore. Ah, Jumia. Yeah, but what's the ticker? JMIA. Okay, that was it. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Remember when I was talking about this, buying it at like $2, $3? Holy shit. No, I haven't paid attention. I had no idea. Wow. Anybody bought this? What a move. Haven't looked at this in months. And people think that only shit coins can go up, 5x, 10x. There you go. 5x. Wow. What a move. I was always high on this company. I never bought into it. But I loved how it just crashed off the IPO, and the company is legitimate. So I was talking about this for a long time, about picking it up on the cheap. Look at that. It'll probably go back to 20 bucks. Look at that. Look at that beautiful weekly buy off the MRI indicators. Look at that. Look at all these green arrows right there, right at the bottom. There was also one here, then led to some upside, but not like that. The weekly chart is still good. The daily chart, I think, is topping today. Yep, the daily chart's topping today. Wow, incredible. Incredible. Hope somebody got this trade. Yeah, Overstock's been rising. Imagine what happens when you get rid of a CEO and your stock just pumps. But I'm sure quarantine had a lot to do with it. Yeah. Maybe they stopped wasting money on blockchain and started focusing on their actual business. Yeah, looks good. I have no comment. I mean, it's gone up a lot. It was almost a zero. The company was almost bankrupt. Yep, there it is. From $2 up to 60. Jeez. No, it's hard. Like my full-time job, I'm not a full-time trader. If you're a full-time trader, you're supposed to be paying attention to things like this. Oh, I wanted to look at copper. Was it copper? Yeah, it was copper. Because copper was hitting an MRI top, and I'm curious how it's doing. So there's the double sell on the daily, and it also, I believe, had a sell on a weekly. And there's a sell on the weekly. So yeah, so copper was at a critical top, and it's holding in there. 1 to 4 week correction on the weekly, and already a much longer correction on the daily. All right, Andreas. All right, these are the last set of questions because I got to prepare for the law show for tomorrow, and we're going to do a news show late tonight. So I got a lot of work to do. Google Trends for DeFi. I guess. Guys, DeFi is another buzzword. There's no such thing as DeFi. There's no such thing as decentralized finance. It doesn't exist. You have Bitcoin. That's it. That's the list. I mean, it's up. It's higher than it's almost as big as it was in 2017. So yeah, so it's definitely in a bubble. Guys, it's really easy for you guys to say, can you get live streams with other people? That takes work, and that takes a lot of work. I gotta organize, I gotta coordinate. I don't get paid to do any of this, right? So it's very difficult to coordinate with people. So I already spend a lot of time. I already do a lot for free for others. And coordinating with people, spending hours and hours and hours, finding the right time, coming up with a plan. These streams are random. This stream doesn't take up, it only takes up my time. It doesn't take up any, what do you call it? Like I have other work to do, right? So it's easy to say, just get guests on, but it's hard. And then I'm also responsible for guests. I used to have guests on, but then those guests turned out to be scammers. So I decided not to have any more guests because somehow if I have a guest on and I haven't hired a private investigator to check everything they've done since they were 3 years old, somehow I'm responsible for that guest's future things. So I am very careful with who comes on this channel because I have no one has as many trolls as I do in this space. Everything I do is watched. Everything I do gets articles written about it. I write a tweet, there's an article. It's just the hassle is just too much. So sometimes I just don't want to deal with it. and that's why. Like I was supposed to have a lot of good guests on. I was gonna have Novogratz. I was gonna have the Winklevoss twins. Uh, uh, Flip was gonna come on again, and I just never organized it. Never organized it. Right. People like Richard Hart, become scammers. Just so many. So many. What are your thoughts on margin trading of Bitcoin on Kraken and other exchanges? Look, use it carefully. Remember, margin trading is like leverage trading. Same thing. If you go 2x leverage and the price drops 50% on you or goes up 100% against you, you just lost all your money. So be careful. Again, if you want to know my thoughts on how to safely trade, you need to, get the on-demand webinar. I'm making them as cheap as possible. You can buy both trading with technical analysis, 6 hours, and risk management, 6 hours. You can buy them together for a discount. It's only going to cost you about $750 or like 800 now because the price of Bitcoin went up. It's denominated in Bitcoin. So they're going to get more expensive as the price of Bitcoin rises. So there you go. And the Learn Trading section is where you can learn for free. And if you want to support, please check out the affiliate page. I gotta get going to prep for the law show and the news show. I'll try to bring a guest now and then. We'll talk about the election, and Joe Biden's not going to win, but we'll talk about the election when it gets closer to it. All right. I'm not sure Joe Biden even knows he's in an election. No, I shouldn't have said that. All right. Yeah, guys, follow me on Twitter. Set notifications on Twitter. I don't tweet that much. So, yeah. I don't have a producer for the show. I don't want to hire more people. I already have enough employees. So if I had a producer for the show that organizes everything and all I got to do is show up, it'd be different, If I had someone that tell me, Tone, just turn on your computer at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you and so are going to do a podcast. Great. But I don't have a producer of my YouTube channel at the moment. So maybe when Bitcoin hits 20, 30,000, I'll hire another person and have a producer that manages all that. All right, guys. That is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. News show later tonight. I'm trying to get Leah on, but she's in the Asian time zone, so it's middle of the night for her right now. And tomorrow's the law show, and we'll see what happens on Thursday. All right. Thanks, guys, and talk to you all soon. Bye.